Hi friends, so today we'll see about the Node.js part. So Node.js basic introduction is it's a JavaScript runtime environment which provides us the flexibility to develop web application. Okay, and in this we will follow the stack of mean stack. In that case, we have a JavaScript based framework which is responsible for managing the web services. Okay, and it is faster, cheaper, as well as growing rapidly in the market. As you can see that MongoDB is used in a Express server. It use and from the database it will pull MongoDB as a database and as AngularJS as the client. So that combines to become a mean stack framework. Next is we will see in the basic part of the Node.js introductory part. So we can see that it's a JavaScript runtime environment and which is built on the V8 JS engine. Okay. Now JavaScript supports natively also means other languages can be also compiled to make this compatible with Node.js. For example, this like TypeScript is also a language which supports JavaScript natively, and it's a event-driven programming for web servers. So web servers like Apache, as you have seen. So in that case, we can follow the pattern of event-driven programming in the Node.js. And what is unique about Node.js? First is it serves the web request as an individual thread. So you can see in this diagram that we have the request which is coming in a form of a loop where all the component requests means in one thread can be managed and by callback mechanisms. Okay, this will do practical there. We'll see it in a very detailed way. Now here we can see in that part also like the difference between the threads and asynchronous event driven. So it locks application for the threads part, means listener and worker thread will be there, whereas in asynchronous event driven, we supports only one thread. Okay, which fetches an event easily. Now, as it follows the multi-threaded server environment, so it might block the request which might have involved multiple events. Okay, so suppose I am developing any application. So in that application, it may happen that sometimes the application gets overloaded, so in that way the threads may block the request. So but in the asynchronous event and architecture of Node.js, it can manually save the current state and then process on to the next event. So that is the basic advantages of asynchronous behavior of Node.js. And it also uses context switching, means thread programming, which can say it's Java follows the multi-threaded environment in that case. But in Node.js, there's in the asynchronous event-driven architecture, there is no contention as well as no context switches. So in the thread-driven architecture, what we have to follow, the incoming request gets locked, but in asynchronous behavior, the callback mechanism they won't get locked. Okay, so this is non-blocking mechanism of asynchronous behavior. Now next part is why what can you do with the Node.js part? So it basically lies on the layer of TCP architecture which follows the HTTP request with the port 80, as you know, and for HTTPS, as you better aware about it, it's a 443 port number which used for the HTTPS mechanisms. Okay, and this port HTTP, that is for HTTP. Okay, port routing. So and also it is executed by JavaScript 8 engine. Now it provides an API also to manage the file system. Now what you can't do with Node.js, that is another question for very many of the developers in architecture team. So basically, it's a just platform for JavaScript application which is running outside the web server, as you better aware about Node.js platform. So, but in Node.js, since it's a backend platform, so there is no DOM built into the Node or nor any other browser capability, and it also can't run on GUI or, but it can also it run only on the terminal. And its event-based server also we have seen that it follows the mechanism of event-driven architecture, which is waiting for input-output operations for processing the HTTP request. Now, next part is blocking versus non-blocking mechanism. So in this diagram, you can see that for blocking, it's asynchronous follows the synchronous behavior of data transfer, which is read data from the file and show data. Whereas in asynchronous mode of data transfer, it can the thread doesn't wait during the input output operation. Means we have a web request, so it will not actually follow the pattern of waiting for other requests. Suppose I have a web request here, which is following the part of let's say text I have put here. Let's say this is my web request and coming for all the handling all traffic. Okay, so this traffic would be coming from the HTTP, or you can say from the web server, which is responsible for managing the workload. So this HTTP request, when we follow the traffic in that case, so this would be responsible for asynchronous behavior of data transfer. So this web server will manage the all traffic, and which is responsible for asynchronous behavior. Now this is blocking pattern. How it works? It read data from the file, then it will show the data. And suppose this is the example, you can perform this other task for file handling mechanism. In non-blocking pattern, it will read data from the file, and when the data gets completed, it will show the data and do perform other task in non-blocking pattern. Whereas in blocking pattern, it will show data and perform other task. Whereas in non-blocking pattern, it would read the data completely. Okay. Now, next is how Node.js versus the Apache platform works. So Node.js, it's mainly very faster and it performs large tons of concurrent requests it can follow. As you can see in the diagram, I have mentioned the figures. Now, what are the success stories behind the Node.js? So basically, success stories, they are Rails to Node where servers were cut to 3 from 30, and this running speed is 20x faster. PayPal also companies they are using, LinkedIn also using. So all the companies are migrating from like Java to Node, and we build almost twice as fast as with fewer people. That will double the request per second. Now, what are the requests it follows in when it suppose the HTTP request in Node.js, it follows the get, post, delete, put and delete mechanism. Okay. Now, what are the applications levels on when you talk? These are the list of servers where applications we can be made in Node.js, and how the package.json file gets mapped. We'll see in the main upcoming videos for the approved application when we use the package.json file and the setup part. So this is the official website of Node.js where these are the number of modules still there, 1,21,943. This is npm, which is responsible for the package manager. And see, these are the current figures in last month for the npm packages, and how we can declare these packages you can see here. Okay, and it also adapts to the ES7 standard. I hope you understand the ES5, ES6, and coming upcoming ES7 standard of JavaScript library. Now this is the hello world program we can make here. This is the pattern we can create our project directory. Then we can do npm read from our command line to create a package.json file in the application. Then we can run this npm need to perform a number of things. Okay, so this is the hello world example. We can easily execute it. This is the package.json file that describes the simple hello world app. Okay, so this is the basic view of a whole how the hello world application works in Node.js on our browser when we go. So this is the pattern where we can follow this part of Node.js execution. Now, second is the Express.js. It is also a Node.js application web framework which provides a robust set of features for web as well as for mobile applications. Now, it uses the socket programming. As you can see in this figure, that the web socket connections they are managed by input-output operations. So this Express.js it acts as an agent for it, and it handles those requests by means of this layer in our main stack environment where M stands for MongoDB, which is the database part. E stands for the Express, which is acting as an agent. And Angular. AngularJS would be responsible for the client, which is the front end framework. And Node.js, which is performing the back end part of the architecture. Now, what are the Express views, or we can say views functionality in Express? It provides a delivery of static files, middleware, where the ease in deploy development functionality, form can be easily processed, authentication can be managed, and cookies and sessions can also be managed in Express functionality. So a lot of this you can also do in Node.js, but you have to write more code than do it if you use the Express framework. That is the only difference. And there are other alternatives like Express E in like Sail or Nature you can use. Okay, so how we can install the Express? This is the basic functionality npm install Express, and you can just hit save. Okay, the next is how these are the what are the package dependencies you can see in when we use to for Express installation. So we can find it like this is the additional functionality of Express installation when we use it. So this is the node structure node modules. In that case, during npm install Express, it creates a directory named node underscore module. With that, it is contents. And as you do more npm install module, it will add more directory. Okay, so this is the first time when you install Express libraries in your system, and this is the Express generator for Hello World app. You can create a package.json file. In that it says layout of the structure. These are the install dependencies where you can create, and in that way you can debug it. Okay, so this is the basic architecture of Express installation, and this is the index.js which follows the node modules and app request for managing the HTTP request. Okay, so this is the index.js file which is responsible for managing the Express dependencies. It calls the functions, sets up the HTTP server which is listening on port 3000, and in that way the request gets acknowledged. Okay, so this is all about our introductory part of Node.js as well as our Express.js part. Thank you for watching.